Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel So Fly Styles. My name is Sophia Abdulsalam. So today I am super excited to finally share this tutorial with you because today's video is extra special and it's one of the most requested tutorial I've ever received on this channel, and that is the pleated circle skirt I styled with my bustier last week. I know you all still remember that skirt. So a lot of people love that outfit so much, and many people even asked me to do a breakdown on how I made this skirt. So first off, today I would like to thank you all for your patience, and also I would like to apologize for the delay with the tutorial. I should have uploaded the tutorial earlier than this, but life keep happening and all. So but anyways, I'm back and better for you all. So in order to make today's the whole skirt tutorial easy for everyone, I've decided to divide the tutorial into two so as not to overwhelm us with so much information at once. So in today's video, which is going to be the first part, I'll be teaching you all about the circle skirt and pleat calculations. So I'm going to teach you how to figure out the right pleat wideness or pleat width based on your waist measurement. I'll teach you how to incorporate pleats into a circle skirt and all other important tips that you need before you even start sewing. So grab your pen and paper, take your measurement. You only need your waist measurement and your skirt length measurement for this tutorial, so measure them and keep them aside. So let's get started with our calculations for today. And as for the calculations, I know some people are like, we are going to do calculation again. Don't worry, I'm going to make the calculation super easy for you to understand. Okay, so let's get started. So the skirt we are about to make is a combination of circle skirts and pleats. Okay, combination of circle skirts and pleats. So today's tutorial, we are going to be focusing on how to make a circle skirt and how to create or make pleats. So we are going to be starting with circle skirt first. So there are different kind of circle skirt. There is 180-degree circle skirt, there is 360, there is 720, there is 540, and the likes of them. So but today's tutorial, we are going to be focusing on 180-degree flare skirt. So just know that the higher the degree of your circle skirt, the fuller or drapery it is going to be. Okay, but as far as this tutorial is concerned, we are going to be doing a 180-degree circle skirt. And for this skirt, all the measurements you are going to need is just your waist measurement and your skirt length measurement. And another parameter you are going to need is pi. It is called pi in mathematics, and the value for pi is 22/7. So when you press 22/7 in your calculator, you are going to get 3.14 and the likes, but we are going to be approximating it to 3.14. okay, so when you are making a flare skirt, due to the nature of it, like they call it circle, you need to get your waist radius. Okay, don't worry, I will still explain to you what it means, what waist radius is, and how to use it on your fabric. But just know that the first thing you will calculate is your waist radius. And how do you do that? You're just going to take your waist measurement divided by your pi, that is divided by 3.14. So in my own case, my waist measurement is 28, and that is my exact waist measurement. I'm now going to take my calculator and press 28 divided by 3.14. So when I pressed it, it gave me 8.91 something, which is close to 9. So I approximated it to 9. So when I'm cutting my fabric, I'll be using 9 inches as my waist radius. Note that this waist measurement that I used, I did not include any zip allowance. I used it exactly. I will explain to you why later. So the next thing we want to calculate now is how to get the amount of fabric you are going to need. So to get the amount of fabric you are going to need for your skirt, that is a circle skirt of waist 28 and skirt length of 37. So the first thing you will do is get your waist radius. After you get your waist radius, you will now do your waist radius in this case, which is in my own case now, which is 9. I'm now going to add it to my skirt length measurement. So do your calculation using your own waist and skirt length measurement. Do all the calculation. So whatever you get, you will now multiply it by 2. So in my own case, it gives me 92. So this 92 inches is what I'm now going to measure out on the fabric. And to measure it, I will measure on the part where they used to measure how many yards of fabric that you want to buy in the market. I know the selvage part. I hope you know that part. So now that is the way I will measure that 92 inches. But you know that your tape is not up to 92. Just measure 46 inches 2 times on the fabric. So cut it out, and that will be the fabric you will need for this skirt. And if you just want to do it like you want to go and buy the fabric in the market, you want to know how many yards you will buy. So this 92 inches, I'll just divide it by 36 inches, because we all know that 1 yard is 36. So whatever you have, in my own case, I have something close to 2.5 yards. So it's safe for me to just buy 2.5 yards for this skirt. And the skirt is for waist 28 and length 37. I will need 2.5 yards to make a skirt that looks like this one you are seeing on screen right now. Okay, so after you cut out the 92 inches from your fabric, okay, like I told you, you are going to measure it on the selvage area. That is the part where they used to measure out how many yardage you want to buy from the market. Then that 92 inches, after you measure it out, cut it out, then you're not going to fold it into 2 equal parts like this, like I'm doing on the paper. So on paper, I'm assuming that the whole of that paper is 92 inches, and after folding, I will have 46 inches at the top and 46 inches at the down. So after you fold it into 2 equal parts again, you know, can you see the closed part of the paper? I'm assuming it's the fabric. You'll now fold it again to create like a cone. Though this is totally optional. After you fold it into 2, you can leave it like that, okay? But I did it I feel like folding it into a cone would save a lot of space. So from the tip of the cone, you will now come down by your waist radius, in my own case, which is 9. So you come down like that. Then from your waist radius, you now come down by your skirt length. Okay, by the time you are measuring out your skirt length, you'll see that you have exhausted the fabric you have cut out. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So you are going to cut it, trace it out like this, assuming this is the fabric. I'm just showing you how to do it on your clothes. So you just use your scissors, cut it out the way I'm cutting it out on paper. So this one right here we have done is a 180-degree flare. So as you can see, 180-degree flare is a semi-circle, and from what you are seeing on screen right now, you see that it is a semi-circle. It's looking like a semi-circle. So a semi-circle skirt is a 180-degree skirt. So what we are now going to do is how to, assuming you want to put pleats on this kind of skirt, you know already the skirt is flare, and I want to add pleats to it to make it full. So if I want to add pleats, I cannot use my exact waist measurement. It's just like if you want to create gather on for your clothes, you need to cut extra to create gather. So now I want to teach you how to calculate the amount of excess you will add to your waist to get your pleats. So before we do all that, I'm going to first of all introduce you to the kind of pleats that that is very common. So the first one here is what is called a knife pleat, and that is the regular one that they just fold it on top of each other. That is the regular one that you see around. Okay, that's it. Then this one in the middle is called inverted pleat, but here in Nigeria we call it kissing pleat. So this last one here is called a box pleat, and if you look at it, the shape is looking like a rectangle, but it is called a box pleat. So let me explain to you what they have one after the other. So this knife pleat, like I told you, is the regular one that you see. You just fold it following the same side. Okay, if you want it to face left, everything will face left together. If you want it to face right, everything will face right together, and that is a knife pleat. So as for this inverted pleat, as I said, they call it kissing pleat in Nigeria. So now you will see that this knife pleat is this kissing pleat or inverted pleat is 2 knife pleats that they are coming together in the middle. Now let me show you how it's done. So this is one knife pleat, Abby. Can you see? Like this is a knife. The way we fold knife pleat, you fold one like this. So the second one, instead of it to follow the same shape, it will now go back to meet the second one, so that they will be meeting each other in the middle. So this is why Nigerians call it kissing pleats. I hope you understand. So they are coming together like they want to, you understand, collide. So as far as the box pleat is concerned, box pleat and inverted pleat, they are actually the same thing. They can be used interchangeably, because inside inverted pleat you will see a box pleat, and inside box pleat you are going to see an inverted pleat. So now you know that kissing pleats, inverted pleats, they are coming together, like they are colliding, but box pleats, they are going separate ways. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Inverted pleats, they are coming together in the middle, like they are colliding. But as far as box pleats is concerned, one is going to the right, the other one is going to the left, like they are 2 words apart, like they are doing social distancing. That is what a box pleat is. Okay, so, and there is no how, when you are doing a inverted pleat, like when you turn to the wrong side of your inverted pleat, you are going to see a box pleat. And when you have a box pleat, by the time you turn to the other side of your box pleat, you will see an inverted pleat. Don't worry, I'm still going to explain to you later on. But just know that when you turn to the wrong side of an inverted pleat, you are going to see a box pleat, and when you turn to the wrong side of a box pleat, you are going to see an inverted pleat. So right now I'm going to teach you pleat width or pleat wideness. So I'll be calling it pleat wideness for this tutorial. So what is pleat wideness? So pleat wideness is just, let me explain to you from this paper. Like if you take this paper up, it's just the distance, like how wide is your pleat. Like take for example this paper now. If I should, from this point, can you see where this one is ending, where one pleat is? I'm using the one in the middle. So to this side, that is the wideness of your pleat. So like look at it from this angle again, from this point here, from this point to this edge, that is the wideness of your pleat. Okay, so this pleat wideness can be 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches and above. So let's say you don't want to put like net or anything under your skirt, you can do 1 inch, that is fine. Like you just want to do a casual skirt. But if you know that you want to put like net under it to make it a little bit puffy, the minimum you should do is 2 inches. Because if you don't do a lot and you now go ahead and put plenty, if you don't do enough pleat wideness, by the time you put something under it, your pleat will now be opening up at the hem. Okay, so if you know you want to put a lot of things under, please do like 3 inches, 4 inches. But when it gets to that point, I won't advise you to do pleats. I will advise you to just do gathers. Okay, I will advise you to just do gather. But when you want to put something very moderate underneath your skirt, the minimum pleat wideness you should do is 2 inches. And when you don't want to put anything under it, just do 1 inch, it is fine. Okay, so now that we know what a pleat width or pleat wideness is, so after this, the next thing that you need to understand is that for every pleat wideness that you decide to do, you should know that you will need times 3 of that measurement to create a single pleat. So now let's say for example me, that I want to do 2 inches pleat wideness. Now I'm going to need 6 inches fabric to create 2 inches, to create just one pleat, 2 inches pleat. So let me show you what I'm saying. So now look at this pleat now here on the pattern paper. So now look at it. If you fold it well, this is one, this is the second one, and then the one at the back is going to be the third one. Let me show you properly. Can you see the zigzag shape it forms? By the time you count it, 1 2 3, so you need times 3 of whatever pleat wideness that you decide to create just one single pleat. Okay, though pleat wideness you can decide to, like, you can be the one to decide, but you also need to understand that your waist measurement can decide the amount of pleat wideness that you can do. Okay, I'll still explain that further in this tutorial, but just know for now that for every pleat wideness that you have decided to do for your skirt, you will need times 3 of that measurement to create one single pleat. So another thing that I want you to understand is that when you are creating, if you don't want to do a knife pleat, you decide to do an inverted pleat or a box pleat, note that you need 2 knife pleats to create one box pleat or one kissing pleat. I hope you understand, because you know that a kissing pleat is 2 knife pleats that are coming together in the middle. So if you use, and I told you that for one knife pleat you are going to need times 3 of the measurement you use for your knife pleat. So when you now want to do a box pleat, you will need times 6 of that measurement to create your box pleat. Take for example, I want to do a 2 inches pleat wideness. So if I'm doing 2 inches for the knife pleat and I need times 3, which is going to give me 6, by the time I want to do a box pleat or an inverted pleat, that is 6 in 2 places. That is going to make it 12 inches. I hope you understand. What I just want you to know is that if you want to create a box pleat or an inverted pleat, you will need 2 knife pleats to create them, okay? And you will need times 6 of your pleat wideness to create a box pleat or an inverted pleat. All right, so the next thing I want to teach you now is how to choose your pleat width or pleat wideness. All right, so I'm going to be using my waist as an example. So my waist is 28 inches like I told you, okay? And I have decided that I want to do a 2 inches pleat wideness. So you write your own waist measurements down and decide on your own. You want to do 3 inches pleat wideness, 4 inches, 5 inches, 2 inches, whichever one you want, write it down, okay? But as for me, I'll be doing 2 inches because the last skirt that I made, that other one, I did 3 inches pleat wideness. But for this one, I'll be doing 2 inches, okay? So now after you have done this, the next thing you want to do is, okay, now that you have decided to do 2 inches pleat wideness, so how many of that 2 inches pleat will now be on my waist of 28? So you will now come, you now say, okay, let me try and calculate how many pleats will be on my waist. So you now come, you now say whatever your waist is. In my own case, my own is 28. I'm going to write it down. I'll now say divided by my pleat wideness. So in your own case, it might be 2 inches as well, it might be 3 inches. Just do whatever your waist is divided by whatever pleat wideness that you have decided. So after I did my own division, I got 14. So what this means is that 2 inches pleat, I will have it in 14 places on my waist, and that is the normal pleat, not knife pleat, not inverted pleat, the normal regular pleats. I will have 14. But this is easy because my waist is an even number. Okay, before that, let me explain. So now my waist is 28. Let's now say I decide to do 3 inches pleat wideness. So to get the number of my pleat, I will now say 28 divided by 3. So this is going to give me 9 point something something something. There's nothing like point or decimal point when you are making pleat. So make sure that whatever pleat wideness that you choose, after you divide your waist by that pleat wideness, you must not have decimal number. It is not allowed, okay? What you must have is all whole number, okay? It is all whole number. As a matter of fact, you must make sure that after you do your waist divided by your pleat wideness, don't even have odd number. Odd number are number like 9, 7, 11, 13, okay? Let me take for example. Now, if your own waist is now like odd number, like let's say for example my waist is 29 and I want to do 2 inches with pleat wideness, by the time I divide it, it will be giving me decimal point as well. So, and there is no number in this world that I can use to divide 29 inches that will give me a number. So in that case, what you should do is, if your own waist is an odd number like 35 or even 35 and a half or 28 and a half, so just minus 1 inch or minus the ½ inch from that your waist measurement. Don't worry, it is going to cease, because normally even this my waist measurement, I'm supposed to reduce it by at most 2 inches or at least 1 inch, because the skirt we are about to make is a circle skirt, and the only thing that is going to be holding it to your body is the band on the waist. The hip area is not tight and everything. So if you don't make it firm on the waist, it might be dragging down on your body. So you want to hold it firm. That is why it is advisable to even reduce your waist by minimum of 1 inch and maximum of 2 inches. Don't worry, it is going to sit. But if I reduce my own waist by 1 inch now, it is going to give me 7, and that will lead me to doing pleat wideness of 3 inches, because if I decide to do 27 divided by 2 is going to give me decimal point. That's why I am not reducing my own waist. But in your own case, if you can reduce your waist by maximum of 2 inches, it will be fine, and minimum of 1 inch, it will be fine. But note that by the time you decide your pleat wideness, so your waist divided by your pleat wideness must not give you decimal points, okay? It is not allowed. So now this is okay if you want to do knife pleat, only knife pleat on your waist. But if you want to do maybe inverted pleat or a box pleat like me, like the what we are going to do today is box pleat and inverted pleat, please, after you do your waist divided by your pleat wideness, you will still need to divide it again by 2. This is because I told you that for every kissing pleat you need 2 knife pleat to create 1 kissing pleat. That is why I need to divide this 14 inches that I have as my knife pleat. I need to divide it by 2 again, because I will need 2 of it to create just 1 box pleat or just 1 inverted pleat. So after I divided 14 by 2 again, I now have 7 inches. But note that these 2 inches that I divided 14 by is constant if you want to do box pleat or inverted pleat. But these 2 inches up that I did 28 divided by 2 is not constant. Your own can be 3, your own can be 4, your own can be 5. Okay, this 2 is not constant. So, but the 2, after whatever you get from this first division, whatever you get, if you want to do a box pleat or inverted pleat, you will need to divide it by 2. This 2 is constant. Okay, and this is due to the fact that for every kissing pleat you need 2 knife pleats to create 1 kissing pleat. All right, so now I believe that you now understand how to get your pleat wideness. Okay, I believe you now know how to get your pleat wideness. So when you are doing your pleat wideness, note that you avoid anything decimal, and I will advise that you should make sure that choose pleat wideness in such a way that, especially if you want to do a box pleat, choose pleat wideness in such a way that by the time you do your waist divided by your pleat wideness, you are going to get even number. Avoid odd number. Okay, so now that we now know how to choose our pleat wideness, the next thing that I want to teach you now is, or not even teach you, because all this calculation that you're about to see, I'll just tell you to avoid it, because I did so much calculation. Like this video, I shot it like 3 times before I was able to get, like I was trying to find a way to make it easy for you guys to understand. So I was doing a lot of calculation, shooting it multiple times just to get the perfect video, so that when I'm explaining to you like this, you will understand it. So what I was trying to achieve in this video, this particular calculation that I was doing for you here, is how to know the amount of excess you need to add to your waist. You know, I told you that if you want to do pleats or even like gathers, you cannot use your exact waist measurement to create gathers. Now the same thing goes for pleats. You cannot use your exact waist measurement. So unlike gathers, if you want to do gathers now, you can just say, okay, the gathers I want to do, I'll just multiply my waist by 2, then use it to create gather. But pleat is not like that. Okay, so what I just realized after series of calculation and everything is that what the pleat, like if you intend to do pleats, whether you want to do 1 inch pleat or 2 inch pleat or 3 inches, 5 inch pleat, so at 10 inches pleat, all you have to do to know your excess is multiply your waist by 3. Please don't multiply your waist by 2, it will not work. Don't multiply your waist by 4, it will not work. Don't multiply your waist by 10, it will not work. Multiply your waist by 3 only. Okay, 3 and only 3. That is the only way you can get the perfect pleat measurement and the right excess that you need for your waist. Okay, if you reduce your waist measurement, if you do your waist times 2, you will not have enough to go around your waist. If you do your waist times 4, you will have more than your waist. Your skirt will be too big for you. The only thing you should do is multiply your waist measurement. Whatever that measurement gives you is what you are going to cut out on your fabric to create your pleat. So in my own case, 28 times 3 gave me 84. So when I want to cut my fabric now, I will use 84 as my waist measurement, because I want to do pleats. So whether you want to do knife pleats, kissing pleats, box pleats, any kind of pleat, for as long as it is a pleat, use your waist times 3 as your waist measurement. I hope you will believe and trust me. So now we know how to get our pleat wideness, our pleat measurements, the amount of excess we need to have to our waist. In fact, we know how to create normal circle skirt. So now we want to combine pleats and circle skirts together. Okay, I want to show you how to combine pleats and circle skirt. So you know that I told you when you want to make a circle skirt, you will need your waist measurement, your skirt length, and of course you will need your pi, which is 22/7, okay, or 3.14. So now in this case, I will not be using my exact waist measurement of 28. I'll be using this 84 that I calculated, that I just told you to do. Waist times 3. Your original waist times 3 will be your new waist measurement, for as long as you know that we want to create pleats from that fabric. So now to create my circle skirt or pleated circle skirt, now I'll be using my waist as 84 inches. And my skirt length, I'll be using 34 inches. Initially I wanted to do 37 inches, but after I did my calculation and everything, I'm going to be using 34. I'm going to explain to you why later, why I reduced it to 34. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to be needing is pi, that is 22/7 or 3.14 to create a circle skirt now. So the only thing that is changing from the initial circle skirt we did is just my waist measurements, which is 84 instead of 28. Okay, so now to get our, now for circle skirt, I told you the first thing you are going to calculate is your waist round or waist radius, and to do that you need your waist divided by your pi, or your waist divided by 3.14. okay, so now in this case my waist is what? My waist is 84. I'll now do divided by 3.14, which is going to give me 26.75 something. So but I'm going to be using 26 inches. Okay, though later on when I was cutting the fabric, I later ended up using that 27. Okay, so don't reduce your own, just use whatever measurement you have, just approximate it to the nearest number that is on your tape. Okay, so this is 26.75, and that is what I am going to be using. Okay, so now that I have my waist round, it is time, or waist radius, for when I'm cutting out on fabric. The next thing we want to calculate now is how much of fabric do we need to create this pleated circle skirt. Okay, and to do that, of course, we have calculated our waist radius. So now what we are going to do is we will now add the waist radius I just calculated plus my skirt length. Okay, so I want to believe that you are doing your own calculation as you are watching this video. This is the reason why I separated this video, so that you can do all the calculations you want to do against the sewing tutorial. Okay, after I added my skirt length and my waist radius together, it gave me 60 inches. So now if I had used 60, my skirt length has 37, you know, by the time I had 37 to 26, it will give me something like 63. But we all know that most of our fabric, Ankara is length 45, lace length 45, other material is 60 inches. So if I should go and do this, my skirt length has 37 and add it to 26, which is going to give me 63. By the time I'm done cutting my fabric, I will need to add joining to the skirt at the hem. Okay, but I'm trying to avoid joining. That is why I decided to reduce my skirt length from 37 to 20, from 37 to 34. I hope you understand. So now this 60 inches, now when I'm not cutting it on fabric, when I want to cut it on fabric, I will measure it 2 times. So when you measure it 2 times, it's going to give you 120 inches. So this 120 inches, to know how many yards of fabric that is, you just divide it by 36. You know, a yard is 36 inches, which gave me 3.333 something. So that 33 point something, you can just approximate it to 3.5 yards. So just by 3.5, I just bought 3.5 yards from the market. Okay, so now for this skirt, I will need 3.5 yards of fabric, and this is the fabric I want to use. So I went to the market, I bought this fabric recently. So a lot of people were asking me the kind of material I used. So I asked them, and they said it is called jonkoso. Okay, they said it is jonkoso, and it has different texture. There is the thick one, there is the light one. I bought the thick one because I don't like the light one. So if you are a beginner, jonkoso can be stressful to sew. Okay, I would advise you buy another fabric, maybe like crepe that is drapery. Okay, but if you can work with jonkoso, no problem. So as for the lining, please, so I bought 2 yards. Okay, please pardon the fact that they both have separate color. Please, when you are buying your own fabric, consider the fact that you are going to buy lining. because I did not think about the lining part when I was buying the fabric. I just saw the color, I like it, I bought it. Now to find the lining that match, it was a problem. So don't be like me. So the next thing I'm going to be using is this net. This is the net that is usually under children's clothes. So when I bought 1 yard, and that is because I have excess at home, extra at home that I was going to add. So you can buy like 1.5 if you don't want something so much for your own school, and it is totally optional. You may not use it. So if you are not using this net, don't bother to buy lining. Okay, so now I'll be using zip, I'll be using bias, and this bias I just want to use it to turn the hem of my skirt. Please, I don't know how to turn hem of a skirt, a circle skirt, so that I prefer to use bias. So if you know how to do it, no problem, you don't need bias, it's optional. So you will need a lot of pins, you will need a matching thread, you will need tailor's chalk, you will need your tape, and of course you are going to need your scissors to cut out your fabric. So this is going to be the end of this tutorial today. Our next tutorial is going to be on how to sew it. So see you guys soon. Bye.